Prophet Moses, okay? We know him like another man, individual, whatever, right? Just to visualize it. So we were following the laws of the past, like the Noahide laws, of the laws of Noah. Prophet Moses came to us and said, God has appointed me a prophet and given me the Torah, this guidance, this law for you to follow. Imagine now, you and I, we say, we are not going to follow. You know, you keep yours, we will follow the laws of our forefathers, Noah. Do you all think that you and I will have salvation by rejecting Noah and Moses and his message?
Well, this was rebellion, right? It was outright rebellion. And
so would we have salvation?
Yes, obviously not, because people would rebel against the person that God sent them to lead them out of Egypt into the promised land, right? So you had people in those 40 years, people who rejected Moses or rebelled against Moses, and they fell. The Old Testament says their carcasses fell in the desert. So
do you agree then, whenever a new prophet and a messenger is appointed by God, it's obligatory on the people to follow them to receive salvation? If you don't follow them, you will not have salvation. So you and I had to follow Moses for salvation.
So say for a Mormon, they had the revelation of Joseph Smith, so he is the last prophet. So you should follow Joseph Smith.
Sure. So if it is established that he is indeed the last prophet, it will be obligatory on everyone to follow him. But the question is, and what is to discuss, is he indeed...
The problem with that is that whether it's Joseph Smith or Nabi Muhammad,
there's a big parallel between the two.
That's right. And,
Joseph Smith and Muhammad.
And the two of them, they do not claim to be perfect.
No, I think.
But our prophet claims to be perfect.
But I think we are misunderstanding one key point here. The issue at hand is, whenever a new prophet and messenger comes, the salvation is only through them, God sends. We agree? Okay.
No, but what I'm saying is...
But do you agree on that point?
I don't want to follow a prophet that says they're not perfect. It has to be someone who says they're perfect.
Just on this point. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Can I say this, منصور? You're making a great point. What she's saying, you're making a good point. What she's saying is that somebody who doesn't seem to follow. So, someone who doesn't seem like, say, let's use someone we can both agree on, Joseph Smith, right? Somebody who doesn't seem to follow the people before, though there's some things that he does follow and agree with. What I think the lady is saying, which I would agree with, which is, then we would say, no, we can't see how that person, when they're disagreeing with some things that Jesus and the apostles said, Moses done and said. So it has to be it can be changed, but there has to be agreement.
Okay. That's the point the lady didn't make, but still it's a valid point, isn't it?
Yeah, I want to follow someone who's perfect.
Okay, so that's not the same point, it's a different point.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a different point. So, right, did Moses the prophet claim that he was a prophet?
No.
Right, so at the time of Moses, would you follow him? He was not perfect according to you.
That was before the revelation came, yeah.
When Moses...
Yes, of course I would. If I lived in that time, I would follow Moses.
And yet he was not perfect.
Yeah.
So perfection is not a criteria to follow a prophet.
But we live in today. We live
now. We are now inventing new criteria for prophethood. When Moses, according to you, didn't claim to be perfect, and yet
I can't relate to that because I didn't live there.
No, it's not this.
And then what we believe in.
One second. If you say a prophet must be perfect by his own admission, and if Moses did not make that claim, then according to your own criteria of prophethood.
I go back. I would not follow Moses. I would follow God.
But how can you follow God without receiving the guidance from God through Moses?
The Mosaic law was given
through Moses.
Jesus, who should come through the Israelites.
I think you totally got mistaken.
That's why
during the time of Moses, during the time of Moses, peace be upon him, how did people receive guidance and revelation? Through Moses or without him?
The Mosaic law was given because of Jesus, the Savior.
You're confusing her.
That's what we believe. But
Jesus wasn't there. Exactly.
The Mosaic law.
Sorry, can we?
She doesn't believe. So those who believe in the Mosaic law,
you have confused the situation altogether. Now, tell us what you think is sensible. to believe
We need to talk about the truth.
and follow God without Moses,
Doing what?
not through him or through him during his time.
Sorry, say again the question.
He's asking me if I would.
If we
follow
were
Moses,
in the time of Moses, upon him be
who was
peace.
not perfect, or would I follow God back in those times? So he's saying now because
I think the question is framed
not
wrongly.
framed
It's
wrongly.
I'll tell you
Look.
why. I'll tell you why. Because
Okay, let's see what he makes
Because-
of the question.
because the people who followed Moses, they are the Israelites. They were in slavery in Egypt. Okay, so he came with the miracles that God gave him to drive them out of Egypt. So your question is framed wrongly because these
absolutely
people.
not.
No, I'll tell
Let
you.
me-
No. Let me finish. Because these people saw the 10 plagues. They saw the miracle. They saw how God took them out of Egypt by the.
And suppose they don't believe in him,
Hey,
would they have
Phil,
salvation?
Phil,
No.
Thank you very much.
Hold on.
That's the point I'm making.
Would I follow
Salvation was
Moses?
not-
who
the
was
point-
not
yeah, the
perfect
point
we're
back
making
in
is
his day? So why don't I follow Muhammad? Who
No.
was our last prophet?
That's not the point. Step by step. Let's understand.
perfect, whereas
Let's
Jesus
understand
is perfect.
step by step. Whenever a prophet comes and a messenger comes from God, it is an obligation on the people to follow that prophet and messenger.
Yeah.
We all agree.
I agree.
Right. Good. The next question is, how do we know someone is a prophet from God or not? That's the question. Like, what's the criteria whether Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a prophet or not? That's what you should be asking. Is he a prophet of God or not? You look at his character. You look at what his message is given. What did the people think of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam before he claimed to receive prophethood? What did people think of him? Did they consider him a lying person or a truthful person?
Yes, some.
Did they consider him to be a trustworthy or unreliable? What did the people consider him to be? What was his testimony?
I'm sorry to say this, but
You say I studied Turkish history as well.
yeah, I did.
Yeah, what did you read about the Prophet Muhammad before you will receive that?
So what did
It's
the
very
people...
hard because I'm a woman, and I
No.
read.
You're an intelligent person. Women
No,
are intelligent too.
I read the chapter from the Quran. about
misunderstanding
the
of Islam
woman.
again.
I read the chapter
There is a
in the Quran
misunderstanding.
about
Let me
women and
understand what
Nabi
the verse refers
Muhammad's attitude to women.
What is his attitude towards women? I mean, I find that your statement is totally unjustified in the very context. You're trying to divert the issue with all due respect and with my humility. We are saying two things. I'll come back to the issues of women if you want to.
Yeah.
Because you're a woman, you have some issues.
Yeah.
Before the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was appointed by God as a prophet, 40 years of his life, did the people consider him to be a truthful person or a lying person? Number one.
Truthful. Yeah.
Truthful. Did they consider him to be trustworthy or untrustworthy? Trustworthy.
Yeah.
So he has a character certification already before his prophethood. He is a truthful person, he doesn't lie.
Well, it doesn't mean
Then,
anything, though.
when he received revelation and God gave him this revelation, people realized the revelation contains the truth. And that revelation contained the evidences for his claim that he is a prophet of God, that indeed this is from God. When the Quran came, it said to them, if you are in doubt as to what God has revealed to his servant Muhammad, upon him be peace, produce a chapter like unto this.
No, okay. Can
If
I
you are
say
truthful,
something? Sorry.
before you continue, let me finish the statement.
Let him speak.
But can I finish the statement? Then you can speak.
No, because I wanted to speak about the...
Can I finish the
Yeah, no,
verses,
go on.
right?
Yeah, go on.
So that you understand.
Yeah.
It says very clearly here, if you are in doubt, you, the people at that time,
Yeah.
as well as now,
Yeah.
as to what God has revealed to his servant Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then produce a chapter, a surah like unto this Quran. If their doubt is true or they're truthful. If they want to do that, they have to what? Do this if they want to, besides God's help. They can seek their helpers and supporters to do this job if they want to. And God says, if you cannot do it and you will never be able to do it, then fear the hellfire whose fuel is man and stone. So we believe hellfire is run by which fuel? Stone, certain type of stone, and man. So we don't want to be the fuel of hellfire. So those people who are asked and challenged, if you don't consider this Quran to be from God, produce something like it. You are the masters in your language. You produce beautiful poetry and hang them in the Kaaba. Produce something like the Quran. Whole Quran, 10 chapters.
Sorry, you're going too far.
Not too far. That's the Quran.
Well, no, okay. Let me say something. When he came with his revelation, there were people, and it's in the Quran, and you would agree with me because you read it. It's in the Quran where people even accused him to be mad. That what he was bringing.
Do you know why?
No, okay.
Do you know what this madness means?
Hold on, let me finish.
Contextualize.
You spoke for some 5 minutes.
You clarify then. What does it mean mad? According to the Arab cultural understanding, what is a mad person? No, I would like you to speak, but clarify according to the Arab understanding
people
of the time.
him because the only presenting you.
Please continue, but explain in the Arab milieu what is a mad person.
You will not control what I'm trying to say. Let me.
But you make a point and you don't address it.
Yes, I will address it.
Oh, thank you. I'm sure you will address that point about madness.
Yes. What you need to present, because you painting that picture that everybody were like accepting.
I didn't say that at all. When did I say that?
You said when he came, he spoke. You said that people accepted it, and you didn't.
When did I say people accepted it?
Well,
I made no claim. I said for 40 years, people certified of his character that he was a truthful and a trustworthy individual. That's a fact of reality, history. Then I said, when people had questions about him, because now, yes, you said, okay, that's a personal character.
Not just question.
Wait.
Objections. That's
when
what
people heard him reciting the Quran challenged them.
They had objections.
People were challenging.
They had objections, yes or no? They had objections.
Of what?
Of his prophethood, of his message. He had objections. He had people who objected.
Can I clarify? I think there's been a confusion.
Well, no, I'm sure he can clarify clearly.
I know. As a third person,
he can clarify.
That's fine. But what I was saying was, I'll just clarify. The fact of the matter is, what he was saying is before. This is the confusion that's happened. Mansour is. I'll just finish with it. He was saying that before the message came to him, was he of a trustworthy character?
Yes,
that's what
that was established.
And in the Quran, that he was of a trustworthy character. In the Quran, if any people are calling him anything, that's after the message arrived, and those are people who are the doubters. No one's saying anything about that.
Well, that's what I wanted to say, right? You had people who objected him, who said he was mad. People who said to him, no, this is not from God. So you had those objections when he came early with his message.
Correct. The Quran already documents their reaction. No, the Quran documents the reaction. You know what majnoon means in that time? Someone possessed by a jinn, committing or using sihr, magic. Do you know why they said the Quran was magic? Because they could not explain how someone can produce something like this Quran. To them, it's not about you disagreeing. If you understand what a mad person is to them, is someone possessed and making all this magic. Why they call the Quran a magic? Just like Jesus Christ, the son of Mary, when he performed miracles, the Quran reports his people considered this to be magic. When the Quran came to the people in Arabia, they considered the Quran to be magic. Why? Because they knew it is beyond their capacity to bring something like it, and they say it's magic, it's a magician trick. Wait. We will see. Which pre-Islamic poetry is like the Quran? Which
I don't have it right now with me.
Then say it. If you cannot substantiate it, because
I really disagree with your point that you're not meant to follow the holy books. A good Muslim should follow all the holy.
Do you follow the books of Noah? Where are they?
The books of Noah, yes.
Where are they?
The Old Testament.
No, it doesn't have the books of Noah.
The Old Testament starts from...
It's a mosaic story. Where are the books of Noah? Do you follow them?
Where are the scrolls?
Can you follow them?
Yeah, but the Quran says follow all the holy books.
No, I'm addressing your point now. Try to understand this logically. If you don't have them, you can't follow them. The Quran doesn't say follow them, it says believe in it. So we believe in the revelation that was sent to them.
How can you believe in them if you don't read them?
We believe in the revelation sent to them, meaning what? We have faith that God sent those revelations. For example, let's make it very simple. We say, the Quran says to us, that God revealed the Injil to Jesus Christ. Right? Did Jesus Christ, in your tradition, write the gospel? Did he? No. The answer is no, he did not write them. Okay, no. Now you realize, now you realize something's very important, and we can't just brush it aside. Jesus, as we know from your scriptural tradition, he did not pen anything himself as a gospel. What he was doing, the message that he received from God, he was preaching to the people. So that gospel was what he taught to the people. Do you know which one it is? You haven't got a clue because he didn't write it himself. What you have instead, hang on, what you have instead is some people later on said, we think this is the Injil of Jesus. They started writing, like Luke, for example. Do you know what Luke said? Do you know? One second. Do you know what Luke said? Luke, in his introduction to his gospel, he says, just as many people are undertaking. Sorry, listen. Luke,
can I say something?
1 minute. Let's contextualize the message. Luke, one of the authors of the gospel. Do you know how many Gospels were written within the first 300-400 years of Christianity? It's not 4. I know 49 Gospels by name. I may have forgotten some of them if you ask me to count. Gospel of the Nazarene, Gospel of the Hebrew, Gospel of St. Thomas, Gospel of Mary, Gospel of Infancy. None of them are in your Bible. Many Gospels are written. So when Luke says, just as many people are writing,
Can I come back to the prophet?
Sorry. One second. Did Luke not say that?
I think no. We're not.
Excuse me.
We're not having a discussion.
I believe in the Prophet Muhammad is the last Nabi.
So sorry.
At the beginning.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Okay, did Luke not say that?
I believe.
Anyone have a physical copy of the Bible? Do you have a Bible?
Luke went to the eyewitnesses. Luke went to the eyewitnesses. So Luke wrote it, but he went to the eyewitnesses. So those who were there. And what he's saying, the claim of the New Testament is different than the claim of the Quran. The New Testament, the claim of the New Testament.
That's not the gospel, though, is it?
Where is the Quran?
Is the New Testament the gospel?
But the claim
ask the lady a question. Is the New Testament the gospel of Jesus?
John 14:25 and John 15:25. That's where you see the claim of the gospel. What the gospel.
That's the claim of the gospel. But is it the gospel?
It claims itself what it is.
Did you hear the question?
I think you're not even understanding the question. May I ask you, when the Gospels of Mark and Matthew or Luke, for example, says, and Jesus went and preached the gospel. 1 second. And Jesus went and preached the gospel. Who is saying the Gospel of Matthew or Mark or Luke, whatever? Is that the gospel of Jesus?
Can I just say something here? Can I say something?
We're playing with semantics here.
We can go round and round and round in circles, and none of us will be won by argument.
But are you following my argument?
We need to ask.
Does my argument make sense to you?
We need to ask God's Spirit to reveal Himself to us through dreams and revelations, and be open to His Spirit. You do, I do.
But the evidence.
Would you then say, the God that we should ask is the God of Jesus Christ?
You're controlling the conversation.
I'm asking her. The lady is speaking. Am I speaking to you? I'm speaking to the lady.
Yeah, but I wanted to come back on Muhammad when you said before the revelation he was trustworthy, right? He was Amin, or all. Right? He had those things before the revelation. Now, when he received the revelation with no witnesses.
Who said that?
Well, your Quran says that. Your tradition.
Where does my Quran say he has no witnesses?
Your tradition. Can
you substantiate that, please?
No, but No.
You're
playing with words.
No, sorry, I cannot have a discussion with someone who makes open claims and doesn't substantiate when asked.
It was.
Where does my Quran say he has no witnesses?
It was Jibril.
No. You made a statement, my friend.
Yes.
Substantiate. Where does my Quran say, in which chapter, which verse, that he had no witnesses?
I don't have any chapter or verse right now.
Sorry, I cannot talk to you. The reason being, you keep making statements of claims and you can't substantiate.
Then show me.
I'm not going to even contradict.
I'm not going to talk about this.
Listen. I am sorry. I am not willing to discuss with individuals who make claims. You take care. And then when question doesn't substantiate and say I don't know. Then when you know, then make claims.
Who was the witness?
No.
Who was the witness when the revelation came? Who was the witness?
Look.
Okay, let's talk
1 second. You made a claim.
Yeah.
Either you substantiate or you go away, learn, and come back and substantiate.
No. That's your trick that you want to play.
Excuse me?
That's the same trick that you want to play.
Trick?
Yes.
I just challenged you of your blatant, erroneous, lying claim.
No, it's not lying. Maybe
okay, prove yourself.
When Muhammad received the revelation from Jibril, who was the witness? Who was there?
You made a claim the Quran said. The Quran backs up. Where does the Quran say that?
I said Quran or Hadith or tradition.
Okay. Should we rewind? Watch yourself later when it's uploaded in SCDAR.
Let me correct now.
No, that's it. End of discussion. Because you're not being very, very sincere.
Wow, you see?
Are you being very sincere?
I am being sincere.
But
I'm asking you questions.
You made a claim. Either you backtrack saying I apologize, or maybe it doesn't say that.
You want to put the word in my mouth?
Oh, you're so not prideful. Man of proud.
Right.
This pride.
Let me. But I want to go back to.
No, I'm not going back anywhere. I'm going to stick on this point.
I don't see anywhere of what I've studied, what I've read. Okay, I don't see anywhere where there was a witness when Muhammad received the revelation.
That's not what he's asking.
When the Prophet Muhammad received revelation,
Quran, Hadith, listen, or any other book.
He was on his horse or his camel, revelation descended on him, and the camel or his horse would depress in the sand. That was witnessed by the companions. Oh, you have not even studied that?
In the cave.
Oh, now we're talking about in the cave.
Well, I'm talking about the first
earlier on you said, sorry, just to clarify, let me clarify why this happened. Earlier on, you said that in the Quran, it backs up that there were no witnesses. That's why he asked.
Where did it say that in the Quran?
Exactly. And then you said, no problem, you backtracked. No problem, you backtracked.
Oh, he backtracked. Good.
You backtracked, yeah. And then he apologized. Well, I don't know if you apologized, but you backtracked that it's not in the Quran that there are no. It says that there are no witnesses. Then Brother Mansour just stated just now that there's hadith that state clearly the Prophet Muhammad was on his horse or on his camel and he received revelation. The camel itself reacted. Many witnesses were there by the Sahaba to see this. So you stated, no problem, just to clarify, I'll finish off. And that is that you stated there were no witnesses. You just stated that there were witnesses via the hadith. Is this what you were saying?
Yes. So now you realize you're going to move your goalposts and say, but what happened in the cave? Was the Quran revealed all of it in the cave?
No, it wasn't.
Right, then it's irrelevant to say there were no witnesses. Once again, I'm still addressing your point. I haven't finished.
Let me also speak.
If you allow me to finish, then you can speak. I haven't finished.
I haven't been able to
I haven't not finished.
Yeah, but I haven't even started.
Thank you.
I haven't even started. Why do you want to finish?
Because you don't let me finish. If you don't let me finish, the discussion doesn't proceed. But I haven't finished.
Just clarifying.
Yeah, we finished then. Okay, that's fine. Yeah,
You don't let me finish the argument.
You want to control the conversation. I can't even make my point.
But you asked me a question, let me finish the answer. Simple.
Alright, fine.
That's the problem you have, isn't it? You ask someone a question and you don't want to finish the answer.
I was
Sorry.
That's fine.
Learn how to communicate.